It's like right now when Obama comes out and Obama says, just 2 days ago, Obama 2 days ago comes out and says what? Obama says, what page is that on, by the way? Page 9? Obama comes out and he says, where is it on page 9?
Sorry, page 10, go.
Okay, Obama 2 days ago comes out and says the following, okay? He says, open borders unsustainable for the United States. Okay, we have borders, Obama said. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that as a practical matter is unsustainable. As big-hearted as he is, nobody understands that better than Joe Biden. And the question is now, are we going to get serious about dealing with this problem in a systemic way as opposed to these one-offs where we're constantly reacting to emergencies? Of the 15,000 mostly Haitian immigrants who gathered in a makeshift camp under the Borton Bridge in Del Rio, Texas, thousands were allowed into the United States under Biden administration. They don't care if they're vaccinated. And on top of that, you know what the chief doctor said? They said 20% of them are bringing some kind of a disease with them here. 20% of them are bringing some kind of a disease to America with them. Look, 20% of them. This is not a Republican.
The border is a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. So they've got Kamala Harris locked up in a basement somewhere. She did such a bad job.
By the way, here's AOC. If AOC loves America so much, and 4 years ago, 5 years ago, she was at the border crying. 3 years ago, what was going on? Where is she at the border? I'm sorry, I haven't seen those pictures yet. The whole bed stuff, where is that at? So do we have border issue 2 years ago? Did we have border issues 2 years ago? Were you complaining about border issues 2 years ago? Were we kind of getting it better? Was ICE and those guys cleaning up the place? Did the people that live on the border feel safer? Did they feel a little safer?
As a resident of the state of Texas, yes, we did.
Of course you did. This is what I'm trying to. So the part that people, there's a couple things here.
I'm not disagreeing with you on this at all.
Yeah. So the part that, for me, if I see this with Trump coming this way, he doesn't have my vote. He doesn't. And this is what it is. Let me explain to you what I mean. Do you remember the first debate that he had with Biden?
Yeah.
How
he
was
had
it?
COVID. He was a mess.
No, I get that, but how was it? Just
he was
combative,
very contentious, not a good look.
Okay. Do you remember the second one?
Second debate was better.
Biden's calling him out, just sitting there listening to him, and then he would respond back.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
But he can't do that for two debates in a row. Can't do that for 2 days in a row.
And FYI, FYI, if he doesn't learn from him losing and he goes that way, he ain't getting reelected.
Pat, seriously, and I know that we're fired up, we're having a great time. Do you actually think Trump is changing even a little bit? You think he's taking this loss and being like, you know what, guys, I probably should have been a little bit nicer, and maybe the name calling I can tone down in the tweets. He's not changing.
Adam.
So you love him for what you love him for who he is, or you accept the fact that he is what he is. 78 years old, he's not changing.
But if I have a choice, if I have a choice between him and Biden to go up against China, it ain't even a question.
I actually agree with you.
Oh no, you don't agree with me
on China.
If I okay, you want to play this game? Do you want to play this game? Let's continue this game. If I have a choice,
I'm going to throw a kink into your argument. If Germany had to decide tomorrow which country they were going to align themselves with economically, would it be China or the United States?
Tomorrow.
If who?
Germany.
They're probably going to go China.
Because they export more to them, and because they...
But what's your point, though?
For two energy pipelines.
What's your point?
But who alienated Germany?
Trump?
Thank you.
Okay.
But there's an economic cost to making all these enemies.
Danielle. So, Danielle, you're talking...
We have children. I mean,
well, doesn't it come down to multilateralism versus unilateralism? Doesn't that what it comes down to?
So let me ask you a question. So what do you do? So you make a tough decision like that. You're expecting everybody to just support the fact that you're going up against China. Germany doesn't have an alternative. They don't have a choice. They don't have an alternative. So what does Germany do? Does Germany sit there and say, oh, you know what? Instead of going to China, let's go to such a... No, they don't have a choice. Because the last 20-some years, 2 Republican presidents, whatever the thing is, and 2 Democratic presidents helped, not even 20, 25, 30 years, they helped China get stronger.
Agreed.
And they deserve everything they're getting now because they did that. And now, to go up against somebody that's a monstrosity, you cannot have a normal person to go up against them. I'm sorry. You know, history, when Churchill died, one of the most hated guys when this guy died. Churchill wasn't loved. But when shit hit the fan, they made one phone call. When Chamberlain knew he didn't have the audacity to go up against the guy, he had to go and beg the one guy he hated the most to come back.
I don't think Ron DeSantis would be easy on China.
But that's not my question. That's not my question. The question isn't if the choice is DeSantis or Trump. I did not ask that. We know if the choice is DeSantis where you guys are going. I got it. That's not where I'm going. But all I'm saying is that small percentage, which is probably not as small as you think it is, that percentage of Trump becoming the nominee and they're going against Biden, and you guys going to sit there and go play another game of I'm going to go to Joe or somebody else, I'm going to do this? I'm sorry. It's going to be
I don't think Biden or Harris, I think both of their political careers are over.
I actually agree with you.
Okay, so
I don't see Biden running again in 2024.
There's a reason the GOP gave money
to
Joe Manchin. There's a reason the GOP is giving money to Joe Manchin.
I think by the second debate on the Republican side, we're going to know who Trump is. I think by the second debate.
Pat, you honestly think Trump is changing even a little bit? 1%?
1%? I don't know what other way to put this to you, bro. Listen, if something happens to your family, you want me as your friend.
I agree.
You're going to make that phone call. I'm going to use anything and everything in my power to back up your family.
Okay.
And you want somebody like me to have some.
I don't think it's the binary choice that you're making it out to be. It will never be Trump against Biden. Mark my words.
Okay, fine. Who will be on the other side?
That's why I'm saying Joe Manchin is
that's a different
positioning
story.
himself.
No, I'm not.
I don't even know if it'll be Manchin. I would
I
like
don't
to
know
see
if it'll
something
be
like
Manchin,
that.
but there are people in the Democratic Party who are ready to take
now
Biden
we're a different
down.
Conversation. Now we're a different conversation.
But I'm saying the binariness of the binary argument, if it came down to Trump versus Biden, it's an irrelevant question.
Let me tell you something. To the point that you brought up at the beginning of this podcast, we're debating over 78-year-old men. Can we get some new, fresh blood in there? I'd love to see Ron DeSantis versus a Tulsi Gabbard. Let them hash it out. Two 40-something-year-old military people, Wall Street people.
Beast.
She's a freaking beast. Why can't we have that debate? Why does it have to be old man River Biden versus crazy man Trump? Why are those our two fucking options?
Because the current system, the way it's set up, these guys need money and backing. And to get people to get behind Tulsi, like I said, her and I are exchanging messages. We're going back and forth. She had nice words to say. Obviously, I had nice words to say to her. And what I told in front of Joe is she needs the powerful people to back her up. They know if we put our money behind somebody, they don't put their money behind somebody without a good chance of this person winning. That's a different conversation to be had. So, yeah.
Would you vote for a Tulsi Gabbard rather than a Trump?
I would need to know what her tax plan would be.
Okay.
It would be purely on a tax plan.
Let's say that you somewhat agreed with her tax plan. You're like, okay, I can get on board with that.
I would absolutely consider it.
You would?
I would absolutely consider it. But it would be purely on the tax plan.
Okay.
So how many years have we been having these types of conversations?
A couple years now.
When it comes on to America, what concerns me the most? Tell me what concerns me the most.
China, taxes,
would you say
socialism.
Would you say China's number one?
On your list, it's definitely in the top two.
Okay.
Well,
would you say
China should be number one?
Yeah. Would you say my concern of us going to a socialistic society is a concern of mine?
That's in the top two as well.
Top two.
Yeah.
What do you think is next after that?
Taxes.
Taxes, which is part of economy.
Part of socialism. Yeah.
That's the same thing to me, right?
They're all intertwined.
I totally agree with you. Now, you want to have the debate. The next things that come up is what? Gun regulation, background check.
I don't think you give two shits about that.
I
don't think that's on the top of your list.
But believe it or not, I have very strong opinions about that. And my strong opinion is people need to be trained more.
Okay.
People need to be trained way more. Like I'm all about training more. That's my mindset.
Sure.
So here, let me
That's
train.
on the top of your list, Pat.
I don't think it's in the top of my list. So you go through the other stuff, right?
But the top three that you mentioned, they determined the fate of the United States.
True.
Those three.
True.
Those three alone determine the fate of the United States.
You know what my number three probably would be? You know my number three probably would be? Censorship.
Yeah.
Number three would probably be censorship.
You can roll taxes and socialism into the same.
Yeah.
You can put them in the same
big
basket.
Tech, Silicon Valley.
So to me, censorship is a very, very big concern long term because I like opposing arguments. Look what just happened. You know who won today? By
the viewer.
Do you know for about 30 minutes, to us, this was not a podcast.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes, this was not a podcast. This is a conversation. You mean to tell me you want to take this away from the audience? Are you kidding me? So the audience can't hear this kind of discourse and they make a decision for themselves. Screw Pat, I don't agree with you. Fine. Screw you, Danny. I don't agree with you. The hell with Adam. No problem. Make up your mind. You saw a discourse. You want to take this away from the American people?
Well, you brought up a very good point about the debates that are sound bites.
That also goes hand in hand with socialism, by the
this.
way, is censorship.
That's censorship
They
stuff.
walk down the same path. If you look at communist regimes, it's all about keeping information from the people, censorship, which should be a four-letter word.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to see what's going to be happening in the next.
And so should insider trading in Congress.
So, if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.